For those who work with and care for people with severe learning disabilities, dealing with challenging behaviour can be one of the most difficult aspects. This film looks at how local authorities, private and voluntary services can improve practice to reduce and prevent difficult antisocial behaviour.
Challenging behaviour is a range of problems people have, from things like aggression towards other people, temper tantrums, destroying property, through to self-directed behaviours, self-mutilating behaviours, self-injurious behaviours. Challenging behaviour occurs because people have vulnerabilities which are exacerbated by the way they're supported. If people can't communicate well, we think that that's a big issue in producing challenging behaviour. There are some congenital conditions that cause learning disability that are associated with higher rates of challenging behaviour, but in broad terms the issue is communication.
In Surrey, 40-year-old Lisa has a history of challenging behaviour. Profoundly deaf and severely autistic, she's one of 10 adults living in 2 5-bed units at Stonepit Close, which is run by the National Autistic Society.
The service was established nearly 15 years ago now. It was started from scratch from plans looking at trying to provide a home for adults with autism across the spectrum. The house is split into 2. It's got 5 people with autism in each house, and we cater for the whole spectrum of autism.
The home was designed to cater for its residents' needs, with large living areas, low arousal interiors and several gardens to give individuals space. The philosophy at the heart of Stonepit Close is SPELL, the Society's framework for understanding and responding to the needs of people with autism.
The core principles is about individualistic and person-centred and honest approach. We try and really understand the history behind the person. To understand the person more makes us understand and empathise with why they might be challenging.
We've got one individual's behaviour plan. It's based around what sort of things that he displays. This individual has his anxieties and he does tend to throw cups as a way of communicating with us, and what we do is we monitor what sort of incidents that he's having, and then what we do is we look at the incident forms and track it back to what's triggered it.
Careful monitoring of Lisa's behaviour since she moved into Stonepit Close has enabled staff to understand it and help her progress.
When Lisa first moved in, Lisa was extremely challenging. She used to continually stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. She was always moving. She ground her teeth. She used to push staff. It's quite difficult to find out when she's showing signs of pain.
Lisa has now learned to use a language of signs and symbols, which enables her to communicate to support workers like Jan her basic needs and desires.
Okay. So Lisa's just signed that she wants a cup of tea in her book. So we'll have to go and get you one, won't we?
Learning this technique makes a huge difference to Lisa's well-being and ability to cope with life.
It means a little bit of independence for her. She's joining her social group. It's better interaction with peers. It also means that she can get what she wants. She can show her choice in all aspects of her life, whether it be an activity or whether it's something as small as choosing her breakfast cereal. If you put the communication in and make sure that she knows exactly what she's doing at any given time in the day, she's a lot easier, she's a lot calmer, she knows what's happening, it reduces the anxiety straight away.
Backing up Lisa's signing skills is a dedicated staff team, constantly watching for and monitoring in her person-centred plan any changes to her behaviour or well-being.
It starts off with an assessment prior to the person moving in to work out what the person's needs are. And then obviously everything is catered down from that. I suppose over the years we've all worked out what Lisa's normal range of behaviours are. And then obviously if she shows something that's a little bit different from that will realise that there is something either wrong with her physically or wrong with the activity. That goes for all of the service users that live here. We have quite a few meetings, whether it be with just the staff on a monthly basis, or whether it's with care managers or parents, families, and obviously the individual themselves. But communication is key to how you manage consistency.
40 years ago, services for people with challenging behaviour, insofar as there were such things, were all about groups. People were herded into a room. They were the backwards of the institutions. Now we understand that because this is all about relationships, it's all about communication, it's all about interaction between the environment and the individual, we have to individualise what we do.
Pam found one example of this approach when her daughter Diana, a resident at Stonepitt Close, began exhibiting challenging behaviour on the way to the day service.
Her reaction when the bus started off was that she'd undo her safety belt and get up and whack the other clients, and so we were back into, oh dear, she's being disruptive to other clients. So the psychologist that was part of the working team here came and discussed it, and she said, well, what we'll do is Diana is to be taken separately on her own to the day centre, and we'll get her all settled in with activities while the minibus comes back to the house and then collects the others. And this worked really well, and so that was their way of coping. And I think it's important that the resources are here to make that adaptation, really.
Now we understand that person-centred approaches, not just person-centred planning, but actually person-centred ways of working with the person are absolutely central. And the services that we design for people whose behaviour presents a challenge need to be tailored to that individual.
There's some really good places to eat. They serve kind of like, obviously you want to taste some local food,
yes, and local beers. Local nor pivor, molinvas.
Yeah, lovely.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to become a natural, you see. I mean, with the locals, it'll go down really well.
For Kevin, another resident with Asperger's syndrome, holidays abroad, funded partly by his own money, have improved outcomes. 3 years ago, when he first came, his challenging behaviour would have made foreign travel unimaginable.
On an almost daily basis, he was having very many behaviours, quite severe behaviours, not just within the home, within the community as well, which was impairing his ability to go out. This was obviously having a knock-on effect on his family because his mother was becoming quite distressed by the amount of phone calls that he was having. He was phoning her daily, really, to say that he was anxious, he couldn't cope living there. We did assess him quite closely. We looked at some of his behaviours that he was displaying and what was triggering them. And we worked out quite quickly that Kevin likes to do well. He's also keen that his structure is very rigid, or well planned, shall we say. And because we're aware of what his behaviours were and what set an anxiety off, we made sure that all of his activities were carefully looked at, carefully planned. He does pose a risk when he is anxious, and he has an aversion to tall people. And so we make sure that when he is out in the community, he's generally got two staff, one to obviously support him that he can talk to, and one to keep him fully informed of what's happening, of any changes to the activity.
Preventing Kevin's anxiety is a priority for staff wherever he goes, but it's particularly important when travelling abroad. The two staff who will accompany him have made a detailed plan outlining the trip, so potential anxieties, triggers for Kevin's challenging behaviour, are greatly reduced.
With the folder, it's a guide for myself to know about what I'm doing, about what times the flights are, where I'll be going, and the place that I'll be staying at and the places I'll be visiting. It's just to put it in a word and pictorial form to help me to be able to see and to have a read of what I'm doing every day, to make things clearer. I found the right place here, and I mean, I couldn't be any happier or any luckier. I have to say, it's been the making of me. It's made me a different person from what I was before. Much different, I'd have to say, and more for people on the Asperger's end of the autistic spectrum, because places like here are definitely few and far between. They're hard to find, that's for sure.
There's now widespread acceptance, I think, that the goal of services for people whose behaviour can present a challenge is to provide a good quality of life for those people, even though they have challenging behaviour. So you don't have to stop being a naughty boy before you get into decent services where people treat you like a human being. You get treated decently, you have a rich quality of life, and we cope with the challenges that you present.
In Cardiff, it's baking day for Henry at the T. Drag Day Centre, also run by the National Autistic Society. Henry's one of 12 people whose challenging behaviour had excluded them from other services. The centre was designed around their needs: a low arousal environment with wide corridors and plenty of space. Each person spends the day guided through activities specifically designed to challenge them appropriately, like Amir, who is working on basic number skills and colour recognition with support worker Lee.
And the yellow peppers. Okay. Oh. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. 4.
Once you've given people those opportunities to increase their skill levels, whether or not it has an impact on their self-esteem, so I suppose depends on the individual, then they start doing things and it gives them functionally equivalent skills that replace the need for them to communicate through using what we would term as challenging behaviour.
As with Stone Pit Close in Surrey, the National Autistic Society's SPELL framework, encouraging an empathetic, individually designed approach, is also central to life at T. Drag. Less than 2 years after opening, David and the team have already seen impressive results.
I know everyone's behaviour has improved because we monitor it and retrack it, and we have lots of review meetings. Virtually all of them came in on 2-to-1 staffing ratio, and that's been, for at least 5 of them, that's been dropped to 1-to-1. They're all fairly content and fairly happy. Families certainly are happy as well. And it's given us a glimpse, and their families, I think, of their potential in the future, which maybe wasn't so bright about 18 to 20 months ago.
30-year-old Imran had a history of especially challenging behaviour. Until the team began working with him, his skills were minimal.
What we normally do is we conduct a functional skills assessment, which enables us to learn what people are capable of. And everyone said, you know, in the right place with the right approach, he's got amazing potential.
Now, Imran is one of T. Drag's success stories.
His staffing ratios have gone down, and he knows how the service works, he can navigate around it. He uses a 3-step communication system where he can tell us what he's doing now, what he's doing next, what he's doing then, and that gives him a lot of reassurance. And it also means he can make clear choices.
Exercises to improve Imran's motor skills have paid off, and soon he'll be able to start helping out at home.
The second exercise Imran was doing was matching socks and rolling them together to put away in the laundry. Well, the idea is that will enable, or hopefully enable, Imran to be able to transfer that to home. And he just gets a lot of self-satisfaction from doing things himself. Just needs to be given the opportunity. But he does need to learn through rote, so sometimes it's a lot of repetition. But the whole idea is that he transfers that to another environment.
He's a very intelligent man. He picks things up so quickly, but he does need a bit of a push because he will choose not to. But he's capable of so much. And you do get a sense of achievement when you actually been working with him around for 2 weeks on something, and then he's picked it up and he's doing it on his own independently.
We don't need more reports, we don't need more policy statements. What we need is people to actually develop individual services, one by one, for each of these people in their local area. And if we started doing that, a number of things would happen. First of all, those individuals would get a better life. Secondly, we begin to build the expertise locally about how to do this and how to sustain it. And then thirdly, we'd stop wasting so much money on poor quality placements that aren't really part of the solution.